Hello, everyone, and welcome to Draft Night here at RealTime Fantasy Sports. We're excited to bring you another Fantasy Life Championship draft tonight. And during the draft tonight is going to be Howard Bender drafting and broadcasting, as always. Howard, good to see you again, my friend.
It's good to be seen. Thank you very much. This is a big night here, right? We've got the Hall of Fame game for the NFL's going on right now. That's it. This is it. This is I had to tell my wife. I'm like, this is it. No more Thursdays. You don't know who I am on a Thursday anymore for the duration of the time. Fortunately, she's a football fan, so she completely understands. But man, I'm telling you, man, it's draft season right now. I mean, there's just so much going on in the fantasy football world that I'm beside myself.
I know it kind of feels like it kind of kicks off the season, the fantasy season tonight, with the preseason games going on. So much fun. And also, I will be remiss if I did not mention this. We had a big promo we're running today on Real Time Fantasy Sports. It ends at midnight. So take advantage of it. Special deposit bonus for the preseason starting tonight. If you put the promo code preseason in today when you deposit money onto our site, we will do a 50% deposit match up to $50 in bonus funds. So take advantage of that. It's completely free money. We will match up to $50. So I would highly recommend you take advantage of that and enjoy the start of the preseason. We just thought we'd give everybody a little special treat there. So if you want to sign up and take advantage of that promo code, again, it's preseason, and we will deposit match up to $50 in bonus funds when you do that. The offer expires at 11:59 tonight, not midnight. I'm sorry. So you got 1 minute before midnight is when it expires. And as Howard mentioned, and we mentioned, the Fantasy Life Championship draft is going off here tonight. Howard's in the draft. He is picking. What are you picking?
Probably down over in the ninth spot
Ninth.
here.
There you go. Okay. I had to see your team name. Seems fishy. So you're picking ninth. Nuts is going first, then Screamscape, Beach Bums, our friend Chris, who's always in this draft, is going fourth. Then Bender's Electro, I don't know, it cuts off. He's picking fifth. Then THC 30%. Charzaria, Fozzie Dog, our friend Fozzie Dog, picking right next to you, Howard. And then on a big Bender after you. And then ABCD is picking 11th. And then Faye FLC 3. You were picking in a couple picks here. The first pick starts the draft with Jameer Gibbs, Bijan Robinson, Jamar Chase, Puka Nakua, Jackson Smith, Najigba. Carson Beck has not been picked yet, Howard. He's having a great preseason game. I thought he might go off in these early rounds, but the hype hasn't hit the FLC just yet.
Not yet, but it's close. I mean, the first person I put in my queue as soon as this draft started was Carson Beck.
There
I
you
mean,
go.
come on, right? I mean, you see him march down the field like that. That was some beautiful work. Although here we go, there's another running back in Arizona you got to beware of,
Oh
and
no.
his last name is Kiner.
Yep, first touchdown of the preseason. Didn't quite wasn't quite familiar with that name. So you're up in a pick, Howard. We had Jackson Smith and the Jig would go fifth, and Christian McCaffrey, Jonathan Taylor, James Cook. I got an idea what you're going to go with here, but let's see if it's
I mean, listen, my typical MO has been to take Ashton Genty here,
exactly what I was thinking.
and I've got plenty of him right now. I really do. So I'm gonna try something a little different here
Okay.
than my usual MO because I want to make sure that I mean, listen, I've got to shake it up a little bit, right? I've got to try some different things. So how about a little Amon Ross St. Brown?
Oh, there you go.
I mean, I'll probably look for a running back in the second round and possibly even the third. But you know, when I've gone running back heavy, and that's been a very workable plan. It's been very successful time and time again, and we see the ADP trends as they are done. But you know what? Who's to say that I'm not gonna hit on running backs in the next two, and then giving myself easily one of the top receivers in the game, target
Actually,
monster.
I did a video today previewing receivers, and my safest receiver pick was Amon-Ra St. Brown. I just feel like his floor is just as good as any in the game. He gets so much, so many targets on a weekly basis. That offense likes to throw the ball. I just think he's as safe as it gets. So I think that Amon-Ra St. Brown picks, just finding that spot, Howard, I think he should do well once again.
I mean, I've said it to everybody out there, right? Your first round pick, people sweat the first round pick so much. I got to get this guy, or should I take Christian McCaffrey, or should I take Jonathan Taylor? Should I take Puka Nakua, or should I take Jackson Smith and the Jigba? Right? The constant battle back and forth that people do, and they're like, I don't want to make a mistake in the first round. The only way that you're going to make a mistake in the first round is by not taking a player who is pretty much a top 12 pick overall, right? You're not going to make a mistake. It's the way you build your team afterwards. So take the guy that you want. Take the guy that you want to root for, the guy you want to build your team around. Do it that way, as opposed to like sitting there sweating about splitting a few hairs here between top running backs or top wide receivers. Take the guy you want. It's how you build your team afterwards that really matters.
I agree. Ashton Genty went after your pick of Amon-Ra St. Brown. Not a surprise. Then Devon Achane, CeeDee Lamb, and Omarion Hampton is the start of the second round. As always, if anybody has any questions, comments about the draft, don't hesitate to put them in the chat here. Howard and I will definitely talk about them, get to them throughout this draft. So feel free to type anything you want in there. And let's look at some of these other picks now, Howard. So A-Chain goes around pick 11. Sometimes he goes a little later than that, but I'm completely fine with A-Chain. I think he's going to get a ton of volume this year, and I think he's going to have another big season. I think he kind of gets overlooked at times in fantasy circles.
Yeah, I agree with you that, I think that what it is with Achan, though, really is the fact that he is the only game in town.
Yeah.
And if you're a defensive coordinator, and I mean a smart defensive coordinator, we see like, there are certain, DCs where you're like Vic Fangio, right? I'm going to take, I'm going to be able to, beat you by taking away your top weapon. Like if you take away Devon Achan as much as you possibly can, what else is Miami going to do? And I think that's kind of an issue here as well.
So Omarion Hampton went at the start of the second. Then George Pickens, Chase Brown. Pickens, that's a little higher than I normally see him go. You take Justin Jefferson. So Jefferson was still there, went after Pickens. So you go receiver to start. Again, kind of different than your normal build, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's definitely different. I would have taken Chase Brown if he had fallen to me. I don't feel like I have enough Chase Brown in my life right now. And I think that he's more than deserving of a spot. The dude he's amazing. There's no other competition for touches. That's the big thing also, is that this is a team that really likes to run the football when they can, and on top of that, Zach Taylor just sticks with one guy. Occasionally you'll see Samaje Perine mixed in, but enough to kind of take away the value of Brown? I don't think so.
So Kenneth Walker goes after that, then Saquon Barkley and Trey McBride. So one thing I will say in watching this game tonight, I don't know if you noticed this, Howard, but I know you didn't see a ton of the game, as neither did I, but from what I saw, using a lot of play action, Arizona, and kind of dump offs, rollouts to the tight end, and I thought that was encouraging for Trey McBride. I know he wasn't in there, but it seems like their offense could move around the quarterback a lot, and they're kind of playing kind of that ball control type game that we've become accustomed to in Green Bay. So I thought that was encouraging for Trey McBride from what I saw tonight, even though he didn't play. I just the way they ran their offense, at least.
Yeah, I mean, that's been the big question. Really, is what kind of looks is Mike LaFleur going to do for everybody, and are we going to get that? Is Trey McBride going to get that same attention, or does LaFleur, is he one of those guys who's like, I want my QB looking downfield for the most part, and I've got two massively talented receivers in Michael Wilson and Marvin Harrison. So, it's good. I mean, listen, if LaFleur plays a lot of 11 personnel, right, and we get a lot of 3 receiver sets, then we can see, all 3 guys having, some success, right? If he runs in that facet. I think if you do more bunch formations, you're kind of limiting how many receivers you're going to utilize. Somebody's going to be the odd man out.
Yep, for sure. So Drake London goes after Trey McBride, then AJ Brown, Chris Olave, Javonte Williams falls all the way there to the end of the second round. So we have four teams went two receivers each, including yourself, and four teams went two running backs each. So kind of interesting, different builds going on here. I think that's a little more receiver heavy than I've seen in some of these drafts, at least to start the year. It seems like that trend's been going a little more running back heavy the first couple rounds, especially in that draft we saw last week that you participated in, Howard. I felt like the running backs were flying off the board, but in this one, we're seeing more teams go uh, heavy on the receivers a little bit. So that's kind of intriguing to see how the rest of their team shakes out with that approach, with so many teams doing that at least. That's probably good news for you, don't you think, Howard?
Well, I mean, it's kind of funny when I saw, excuse me, when I saw these other teams going receiver heavy, I was like, damn, I thought that I would, be able to scoop up value. And I mean, listen, I'm on Ross St. Brown. Justin Jefferson is, ridiculous. And I'll take that over any one of the three pairings that they have, on the other side of the room. I thought I was going to be able to get more value, but I'll tell you what I think what's good for me here, and this is one of those things where, you should always have, like, that's what, all right. One of the things that really cinched it up for me with RT Sports years and years and years ago, the draft board.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not staring at the draft board while you're also drafting, you're making a big mistake, because what you need to do is you need to see where you're sitting and what everybody else is going for right around you. Like these three guys, who are at the beginning and they've got wide receiver, they're going to be like, all right, well, now I got to go for running back. Now I got to go. But they're all looking for the same thing. I'm sitting here amongst three guys who all went running back, and don't have as much competition. So in the later rounds, when I'm looking for those other running backs, these guys are probably going to be like, oh, I need wide receivers. I'm set at running back. I don't have to pay attention to it anymore.
I totally agree. I think that's definitely a trap some owners fall into. You need to know what's going on around you to optimize your draft during the draft to just kind of see what you should be picking and what you'd be targeting. It's a good idea to know what other teams might take, because that should definitely influence the way you pick. So I think that's a great point, Howard. And the Bender's Electro team, he goes three receivers to start. He takes Rashee Rice. Again, I guess he might be thinking value's just too good, so he goes really receiver heavy and takes three straight receivers. Interesting. You do start. We start two flexes in the Fantasy Life Championship, right? Or
Yes. There's
yes,
two
it's
flexes.
two receivers, two running backs, two flexes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can definitely use Rashee Rice in that flex spot, but I'm anxious to see how his running backs turn out. So Josh Allen then goes first quarterback off the board after Rashee Rice. You're a couple picks away, Howard. So you got two teams ahead of you that have taken running back. So I have a feeling you might be eyeing that same position with your next pick. So anxious to see what's left for you there. Now you're up, Howard.
Oh, Fozzie snagging Malik Neighbors. I was actually going to do that.
Uh-oh.
I was actually going to take Malik Neighbors right there. Now the question is, I mean, again, it's you're looking at the running backs and you're looking at some of the wide receivers and some of the values that you're getting here, right? I mean, Jeremiah Love, we know it's a crowded backfield. Josh Jacobs, we like him, but there's not much tread left on those tires. He's been around for a long, long time. He might not be over 30, but he's been around for a while. So, you look at a situation like that, and the question is, do I just try to piece it together with running backs later on? Do I take another high-end wide receiver who I think, again, would be a lock in my flex if I were to, do that? If I were to start Amon-Ra St. Brown and Justin Jefferson week in, week out, like Zay Flowers would have to be a lock for one of those flex spots just based on potential and workload.
Yeah, you would definitely think he would be. And as you mentioned, a lot of similar running backs with the next 12 or so are probably kind of similar in value. So you're just hoping that you get one or two of those guys after going receiver heavy like you did. So team after you goes three running backs. So again, kind of different builds all over the place. You and Bender's Electro each have three receivers, and then on a big bender has three running backs. So interesting to see how these rosters shape up when it's all said and done.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about this actually. I've never done I've never been a zero RB guy.
Mm-hmm.
And and there have been times, and I've argued with Andrew Cooper over at Fantasy Alarm about it, and he was like, "You've got to try it at least once." And I'm like, "No, I'm too chicken. I'm too chicken." But the way that this draft is kind of unfolding right now, and the options that are coming my way, it's just, I mean, if I'm taking best player available, biggest value, regardless of position at this point, I think I'm getting the majority of the value here that I need to be getting, regardless of who my running back room could be.
So I should mention, DJ Moore went with the 7th pick in the 3rd round. I think it's the highest I've seen him go. And I'm a DJ Moore guy. I'm a believer. I think he's going to have a big year, but surprising to see him go ahead of Malik Neighbors and Zay Flowers. That's definitely the highest I've seen DJ Moore get. I guess some of that training camp buzz is starting to take some steam with Moore.
Yeah, and which I think it's warranted. I really do. I think he's. I mean, I think a lot of people forget the fact that DJ Moore had one of his best seasons. He had a 93 catch season in Carolina with Joe Brady as his offensive coordinator. He knows this offense. Now he's got one of the best QBs in the game throwing him the football in a scheme that he's very familiar with. That he is going to end up being the alpha receiver. Like, that's the thing, is that he's going to be the alpha receiver on this Bills team. Everybody else is one of those interchangeable cogs, right? Nobody that's like really dazzling me. But I think it's going to be very, very interesting here, to say the least. All right.
Yeah, he had 95 plus receptions 2 of his last 3 seasons. Last year was a disappointment. I think a lot of people believe Moore's older than he is. He's 29, so he's not exactly over the hill just yet for receiver age. You're up right now, Howard, so
I know. So here you go. I'm going to do it. I'm going to breach the running back room.
There you go. Goes with Tootin.
And I'll go with Tootin. I mean, if Chris Rodriguez is the big competition for touches in any way, shape, or form, I'm pretty content going with Tootin here. Judkins was Fozzie took Judkins. That was the other one who I was kind of considering.
Yeah, I would have probably leaned Judkins. I'm a big Judkins guy this year, but I get the Tootin love as well. Like you said, not much competition. He's getting rave reviews in camp. That offense is on the upswing, so I definitely get it. We've had 4 running backs go with the last 5 picks. The only non-running back is Colston Loveland there with the 3rd pick in the 4th round. You got any shares of Loveland? I like him. I think he's going to have a good year, but I feel like his value might be just a little too high ADP-wise for me to take many shares of him at this point.
In a normal league, no, but in a tight end premium league, yes, I've taken some shares of Loveland. So this is not tight end premium,
No.
which is something I keep having to tell myself. Right? I'm like, I'm not doing a beat Howard Bender draft. I'm doing a fantasy life championship draft. But yeah, I mean, I think in a tight end premium, it's worth it. In a season long, again, one of the things that we've kind of looked at as far as tight end values, right? The reason that Travis Kelce was always a 1st round pick was because he was by far and away not only head and shoulders above every other tight end, but he was also having seasons where the point total was comparable to like a wide receiver 2. Possibly in some cases, even a wide receiver 1. So, when you look at what they're doing now, you need a guy. If you're going to take a top Brock Bowers, a Trey McBride, a Colston Loveland, where they're going, you have to assume that, or at least believe that not only are they going to have a 300 point fantasy point season, but on top of that, that's going to be a significant difference from any of the other tight ends. So I think I'd rather take a shot on like a Kyle Pitts in the 7th or 8th round than to take a Colston Loveland in the 3rd or 4th round when I can get, some of these other names here that we're looking at in the range that he went.
I'm kind of the same way. That's kind of how I've been playing things out so far. I think I'd rather wait a little bit on that position and get some of those guys you just mentioned. I think that's the way I've been playing it most of the time this year. I have taken, I think I took Bowers in my last best ball draft. And I don't know if I love the way my team turned out with that build. Jeremiah Love, though, I wanted to mention him before we get too much farther past his pick. He went the first pick in the fourth round, so I think a lot of people are starting to get a little scared. They see Algier atop the depth chart right now, hearing some things coming out of Arizona also. So he's losing a little value. He was second round pick most of the time throughout the entire preseason here on our fantasy site at least, and he's fallen down a little bit. So do you have concerns about Love, Howard?
Excuse me, I definitely do. You know, just in the sense that, I mean, granted, take it with a grain of salt. It was Nathaniel Hackett who was kind
Yeah.
of, getting down on him, being like he's playing like a rookie. But the fact of the matter is that they do want to ease him in, or they're at least looking at easing him in. If you've got Trey Benson and James Conner, and then who's the fourth that's over there? Oh,
Uh,
and Algier,
yeah,
right?
James
And so
Conner, Algier, and Benson.
so all of a
Benson,
sudden,
right?
I think it's he's got the ability to outplay everybody, right? He's got the ability to be the number one running back. He has to earn that spot. He has to, he's got to show that his pass blocking is good. He's got to show that he can be a successful running back in the NFL. So I think that if he outshines everybody, if he does what he's supposed to do, and it's like mid-season, then maybe they just take the reins off and they just say, listen, he's a peacock captain. We got to let him fly, right? I mean, that's kind of where we're at with him. But to start the season, I mean, it's a no-go. I think the deck is a little bit stacked too much against him. So taking him, people were taking him in the second round. He's
Yep.
definitely fallen off since, but I think people needed to pump the brakes on him just for that aspect.
I do think some of it is just kind of coach speak, trying to not build the rookie up too much. That's how some coaches are wired. So I do think some of that is in play, but I also think Arizona's not going to be very good. And I also worry about Algier at least stealing maybe goal line carries from him, much like he did with Bajan in Atlanta. So those are two strikes that I'm kind of worried about. But I do think some of it might be coach speak, and I'm not convinced that Love's going to be behind Algier to start the season. But who knows? We'll see. But you're right. I think we should pump the brakes on him a little bit. He was getting really built up in drafts early in the season. So after your Tootin pick, it went Judkins, Josh Jacobs, Travion Henderson, Devonta Smith, DeAndre Swift, Bucky Irving, Garrett Wilson, and Ladd McConkey. That rounded out the fourth round. And then the fifth round started with three straight receivers, Luther Burden, Tet McMillan, T. Higgins, Harold Fannin goes, another tight end. He's the fourth one off the board. Jalen Waddle, Carnell Tate, Jadarian Price, and now Fozzie Dog is up right before you pick Howard. So we'll see what he does. Mike Evans, and now you are on the clock, my friend. And you
And I'm
go
going to
Lamar
take
Jackson.
I'm taking Lamar Jackson. I mean, I'm sitting here in the fifth round. I had 2 round discount from what where Josh Allen went. I love everything that I'm hearing about Lamar Jackson really buying into Declan Doyle's offense, and I think that that's just, to me, that's going to be a rock solid thing, because if Lamar just fully buys in, if everybody on the Ravens buy in to this offensive scheme that they're selling, it can be incredibly explosive. And I mean, Lamar, Zay Flowers is going to be, huge on that. We're looking at the possibility of maybe, I mean, everybody loves Jacoby Lane right now, right? Everybody's in on him being a big camp hype guy. Elijah Surratt is a good physical split end type wide receiver. So I think they've got the components here for the Ravens. So, I mean, listen, if I'm gonna sit here and I'm not gonna worry too much about the running back position where I'm at, then I might as well make sure that I have like a top 2 quarterback here to go with my elite level receiving crew.
Howard is embracing the zero running back strategy in
Let's
this draft
go.
tonight. You also so you have Lamar Jackson, Zay Flowers as well. So in a format like this, a tournament style for the playoffs, do you like to have that combo, quarterback receiver combo, in a format more so in this than other standard formats, or is it just did it just work out that way for you here?
I mean, I don't mind it. I like it. I'll happily do it as far as that goes. I mean, it's like I'm not sitting there thinking about like taking Jared Goff because I got Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'm not hunting down Kyler Murray because I got Justin Jefferson. I mean, Lamar gives you, especially when you don't have running backs. When I've got Tootin, and that's great, and I'll probably hit the running back position sooner rather than later. But having a mobile QB who raises the floor because of his rushing upside, it helps. It just helps with the point totals there. You get like a quarterback. You get even like a Joe Burrow. You get Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow has a bad game, right? And he throws for 260 yards and one touchdown and two interceptions. That's kind of a bummer. Lamar Jackson's rushing upside kind of gives him that floor that that you're always going to get.
Exactly. He's safe quarterback pick, Lamar Jackson, just like Josh Allen, 'cause of his rushing ability. And kind of surprisingly, just one running back picked in round 5. And then we start round 6 with two receivers, Christian Watson and then Devontae Adams. That might be as high as I've seen Watson as well. Couple picks there, people going against the ADP a little bit. And as you said last week, getting their guy. And we don't have any problem with that. If these are your guys, you want them, you got to go get them, especially with Faye there picking on the turn there. He's not going to, you don't know what's going to be left by the time you pick again. So if you got to go a little earlier in the ADP, go ahead and do it, is what I say.
I mean, where are you at with Watson, really? I mean, here's a dude who, right? Even in seasons where he's lost time due to injury or whatever. I mean, this guy has never had more than what 50 receptions in a season or 60 receptions in a season. He's never had more than 600 yards either. Ramondre. You took Ramondre right in front of me, Steve.
I thought, I thought maybe some of these receivers leaving Green Bay would make them more attractive to me, the guys they have left, but I'm out on these guys. I kind of like Jaden Reed if I had to pick any of those Packers receivers, but I'm like you. I don't trust Watson. He hasn't really done it yet. Golden didn't show me a whole lot last year. I know he's getting some hype in training camp, but I'm still scared of these Packers receivers. So you go Chuba Hubbard. It's a guy you've picked in a couple drafts that we've done here live on the air throughout this preseason here. So Hubbard's still your guy. Still have some faith in him.
I do. I mean, again, Jonathan Brooks, who Fozzie took right after me. Nice troll job, buddy. The thing about it is, Jonathan Brooks has not been on a field taking an NFL snap in like 2 years. Right? What have we seen or heard or anything like that about him that makes us even remotely think that he owns this job? I don't understand it. Like Chuba Hubbard lost his job last year because he got hurt, right? What happened was he got hurt. Rico Dowdle comes in. He gets to run against Miami, the worst run defense in the league. Then he gets to run against his old team, Dallas, another horrendous rushing team. And Dave Canales had no choice but to be like, the dude just rushed for back-to-back 200-yard games.
Yep.
I can't, put him in, I can't put him on the bench with what he's done. And Dave Canales is predominantly a one running back kind of guy. He doesn't need to split the workload. So he left Rico Dowdle in there. Did he mix in Chuba a little bit here and there? Sure, yeah. But remember, they also had just given Chuba before the season started a new 3-year deal. Yep. So he's the guy who they have and they're paying to do it. So they kind of bleed him in there a little bit last year. You saw when Rico Dowdle was kind of slowing down towards the tail end of the season that Chuba started to get more and more of the workload. I think this is Chuba Hubbard's job right now, and Jonathan Brooks needs to take it away from him. If Jonathan Brooks takes it away from him, then great. I'm all in on Jonathan Brooks because that's what Dave Canales wants. He wants one running back to do the work, right? He doesn't want the tandem backfield. So, until I'm proven wrong here, until Jonathan Brooks does something, I can't take him over Hubbard.
And Brooks has some question marks when it comes to being a receiving back, so I think that could be maybe a strike against him as well. I know Hubbard hasn't produced huge numbers in the passing game, but he's been more than serviceable in that category, so I think that might help give him an edge there as well. So as you mentioned, Jonathan Brooks went right after your Chuba Hubbard pick, and then Parker Washington, Brian Thomas, Jalen Warren, Rome Odunze, Joe Burrow, R.J. Harvey, the second to last pick in round 6. So it's always interesting to me. Both Parker Washington and Brian Thomas, they go right around each other. They're neck and neck in a lot of these drafts. Which one are you favoring if you had to pick out of those two?
I'm sorry, you had like zipped out on
Oh,
my
sorry.
thing
I was talking about Parker Washington, Brian Thomas. I feel like
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
they really go around each other a lot in
Yep.
drafts I've watched recently. Which of the two are you leaning towards if you had to take them?
It's kind of funny. I get this question a lot actually because and I always talk to Mike Dempsey, who is the voice of the Jaguars. You hear him on Sirius XM on Football Die Hard show, and he's like tuned in. And when I asked him that question, also he turned around and said, "I'm guessing that Parker Washington is the guy who sees the most targets and the most receptions, but Brian Thomas Jr. will probably lead the team in touchdowns."
Okay.
So I think that's a fair assessment there. I mean, if you want to put it in another kind of a, in another kind of a fashion, right? It would be Parker Washington in the Puka Nakua role, while Brian Thomas is in the Devontae Adams role, kind of a thing, right? The split end, deeper threat. Then you got the guy who moves the chains, but the guy who moves the chains is good enough to, break a bunch of yards after the catch as well.
So to end that last round, Jordan Tyson, the rookie, went with the last pick in round 6. Again, I want to mention, if you're just joining, we have a special deposit bonus for today only because of the start of the preseason. If you put in the promo code preseason, you will get a 50% deposit match up to $50 in bonus funds. So take advantage of that. It expires tonight at 11:59. So definitely want to take advantage of free money. You don't have to sign up for leagues immediately after you get those bonus funds in your account, but just have that money in there, and then you can sign up for whatever leagues you would like here at RealTime Fantasy Sports. So definitely a great promo we're running as we're watching these preseason games. Right now, Howard, it's tied 17-17. Did you take the over when you made the bet? Did you go over or under on the preseason game?
I never bet the preseason, my friend. I never bet the preseason.
I don't know how anybody can do that. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know how long people are going to play. It's crazy to me they even have that as an option open for people, but man, craziness. All right, Tyler Warren, start of round 7. I know you like him this year. Then Wan'Dale Robinson, Rico Dowdle as well. Let's talk about those rookie receivers, though. So Carnell Tate went in round 5, and then Jordan Tyson in round 6. I don't feel like these guys are as safe as some of the rookies the past few years, but maybe I'm wrong. Are you taking any stock in any of these guys? You feeling good about any of them having a good rookie year?
It's kind of funny. I'm not really very bullish on him. I mean, I like Jordan Tyson for, like dynasty leagues for talent wise, because I do think that he is very talented. And I think he's in a good position, right? He can move all around the field and be successful. What I like about Carnell Tate is that Carnell Tate is going to be he's going to be your big boomer bust kind of a guy, right? You're going to see him and Cam Ward hook up for a number of big long touchdowns. But Wan'Dale Robinson's going to be the guy who's the bread and butter in there. He's going to see the targets. He's going to move the field. But you're going to see so many highlights from Carnell Tate. Mekhi Lemon's kind of an interesting one here because the Eagles, they lose AJ Brown. Devontae Smith going to move into more of a big split end type role, or is he going to stay where he is and the other outside receiver, they'll just kind of figure it out and they'll piece it together, whether it's Makai Lemon or Dontavian Wicks or somebody like that. Because the problem is that, like, what if Devontae Smith isn't good as like a big split end guy and he needs to be that slot flanker? Like, Makai Lemon's not a big split end type guy either. So, the question is whatever they do with Devontae Smith is really going to dictate what the personnel is on the other side. And I think that obviously devalues Makai Lemon just a bit. So I haven't really been drafting heavy on the rookie wide receivers. I've actually gone in the later rounds. I've taken like bunch of best ball shots on like Jacoby Lane. I've taken late round picks on Dejon Stribling because I mean they're like free picks at the end of the draft, and these guys have the potential to move up. Any of these three top guys, I think you're drafting them already at ceiling as opposed to getting any kind of real value.
Howard, your pick's up now, so I will let you make your pick. Our guy Fozzie took Kenneth Gainwell right before you. I know that's one of your guys.
That is one
as
of my
well,
guys.
so he's trolling you again with that pick. A lot of running backs this round. We've had 5 so far of the first 8 picks. Rico Dowdle, Tony Pollard, Blake Corum, Jordan Mason, and Kenneth Gainwell. Other 2 picks were Michael Wilson and Tyler Warren. Right now on your roster, you have 3 receivers, 2 running backs, and your starting quarterback in Lamar Jackson. So let's see what Howard does here.
Yeah, this is a tough one here, but I'll grab another running back. I'll take Kyle Monangai.
Okay.
It's kind of funny. I've had some interesting conversations with people about this Chicago offense and Ben Johnson's offense. Ben Johnson's offense is he likes a 2 running back scheme, right? He's the one who turned the Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery into the Thunder and Lightning, the Sonic and Knuckles, right? And having those 2 guys play their specific roles, they can each do Montgomery could catch a pass, so you never knew exactly what was going on just because of personnel. Last year, you looked at it and it was like, all right, you could see Jahmyr Gibbs was out playing Montgomery, but was that more because Ben Johnson left and it was a different scheme and they were working in different things? I think that Ben Johnson's offense, which I do believe everybody forgets, is run first, right?
Yep.
And I think that he likes having those 2 guys. He likes having Swift and Monangai. And while Swift plays that that Jahmyr Gibbs type role, Kyle Monangai playing that Montgomery role might be more of what the Bears kind of need anyway, especially when you've got the tight end in Loveland catching passes and you've got other receiving options. So I think that Monangai gets himself at least enough of a snap share and touch share to be a worthwhile flex play, which is kind of where I have him slotted right now.
And Kyle Pitts goes after you, after your pick of Monangai. I agree, though. I think Ben Johnson, he uses that run to set up the pass. So that's kind of the way he has things set up, and it definitely makes those running backs intriguing and capable of the big game any given week. And I think you're right. I think he wants to go with that 1-2 punch of those guys as well. So on a big bender, he has two tight ends, I should say, he took with his last 4 picks, Loveland and Pitts there. Kind of interesting there. I'm not sure I'd go that route with tight ends, especially since it's not tight end premium, but to each their own.
I mean, if you figure that he went running back heavy here, so Genty and Chase Brown, Travis Etienne takes up one of the flex spots, right? Then
Yep.
you've got Love. Can you flex Pitts or Loveland? Like, would you flex Pitts instead of taking another wide receiver? Would you do that? I think that's kind of something that kind of intriguing.
Yeah, exactly. I just don't know if Pitts will get the volume to, be a wide receiver number 2, but who knows? Maybe he'll build on last year and keep it going. So Isaiah Likely went after him, another tight end. That is the first tight end for the ABCD team. He has 3 running backs, 2 receivers, running back, a quarterback, and a tight end. So he's kind of got his roster kind of filled out for the most part there. And then the Fay team took Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt with the last pick in round 7, and then he went Jaden Daniels. So back-to-back Commanders. He also has Terry McLaurin. Might have a Commander fan in the house here, Howard, picking at the 12 spot.
Is that what we're doing? We're stacking commanders.
Yes. Stephon Diggs pick incoming.
Incoming, right? Oh, you know what? I mean, it's funny that you mentioned that name right there. Like, where are you kind of valuing?
Yeah, I think I have him. I want to say 50-ish. Let me look here. 51. I have him in my rankings right now. I think.
Look at Steve taking all these tight ends. He just took Sam Laporta.
Wow. He's trying to block everybody else, I guess.
I mean, the funny thing is that I was like, I was looking at Sam Laporta, and I'm like, yeah, I've got Amon-Ra St. Brown. Do I want to, stay that invested in there and whatnot? And then I was like, oh shit. Well, what is it that nobody likes about Tucker Kraft right now? Right? So like Tucker Kraft was like the be all end all for people.
Yep. He had some huge games when he was healthy last year, and definitely was on pace to have a monster season. So, like, of all the pass catching options in Green Bay, that's probably the one I like the most. I think he has the highest ceiling of those guys, at least. So I like that pick for you there in round 8.
Yeah, and that tournament mentality, my friend, right? That's the last Monday night game of the season.
There you go. Your friend, what's his name again? Who said that? Who gave you that? Was
Joe
it
Jacoby?
Joe Jacoby. That's right. I knew that. So we'll see if that pays off. Then Alex goes, Chris Godwin, Marvin Harrison Jr. as well.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Harrison fell that far.
Yeah, Michael Wilson goes in round 7 and Harrison in round 8. Normally, Harrison goes before Wilson. Kind of intriguing to see what happens with those guys this year. I think this is a make or break year for Harrison. He's got to get it together.
Yeah, he definitely does need to get it together. 100%.
Has the talent to do so, but I wonder about that QB situation, Jacoby Brissett, how that plays. I guess they got Carson back, so everything will be all right.
And I mean, come on, did you see that touchdown?
He just made another great one. I think he was, last I looked, he was like 11 of 14 for 170 yards.
Good for him, man. Good for him. I love that. I do. Like, it's so funny, like, when you're down on a player or whatever, and everybody's like, oh, you must hate the guy, you must hate the guy. In reality, I root for every single player to succeed. It just makes for a better product, right? It makes fantasy more exciting if more players are doing better and performing well, right? I'm not going to sit there and crap on a guy for any kind of personal reason there, but everybody's like, oh, you don't like him, you're down on this guy, and you hate the guy. No, I don't hate the guy. I just hate the production.
So if I ever do this, Howard, I give you permission to punch me in the face. If I start posting on Twitter just exactly what you said, kind of, these are the guys I hated last year, and these are the guys I'm going to hate this year. I can't stand those posts. It's crazy. Then they list like 5 guys. Like, what is that?
These guys all burned me before.
Yeah. I told you to draft this guy last year, and this year I'm telling you to draft this guy. What is that? Come on.
I mean, you have to be able to, you have to have a short memory sometimes. You really do. I mean, like, it's so funny. You talk about this with a ton of people, like, scheme matters, opportunity matters. And what you saw last year is not necessarily going to be the case. You can't sit there and be like, oh, this guy got hurt on me last year, therefore I won't draft him this year because he ruined me last year. Why? Yeah. If you like the player and the player stays healthy, then shouldn't you still like that player? You can't ditch him because of bad feelings. That doesn't work.
No, that's not winning fantasy. Got to know
not winning fantasy.
Yeah. Like you said too, like knowing the schemes and who's calling the plays and what they like to feature. It all makes a huge difference. People just get bent out of shape too easily over certain things, and I think they lose sight of the big picture sometimes. So let's look at some of these other picks. After Tucker Kraft, you took him, and then it went Alec Pierce, Chris Godwin, Marvin Harrison Jr., as I mentioned, J.K. Dobbins, Rashad White, Quentin Johnston, Zach Charbonnet, DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf, his value's really fallen a lot. Do you think he's got any chance with Aaron Rodgers, Mike McCarthy there? Aaron Rodgers still there, and now Mike McCarthy. Do you think DK Metcalf has any chance to be the DK Metcalf of old?
I think there's still a chance. I definitely do. I think that, am I going to invest in DK Metcalf and think that we're going to see some sort of, resurgence from Rodgers? No, but, I think that if you're looking at it from the perspective of, if this guy gives me 5 or 6 good games this year, then, it's a fine wide receiver 3 spot,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, you look at this at Nuts his picks. Lad McConkey, Luther Burden. Okay, great. Jordan upside. It's a hopeful pick. Maybe he'll do well. Maybe he won't. But you back him up there with a guy like DK Metcalf, and I think that's it's a good solid player to take a shot on there for your to mix and match with Jordan Tyson. Because I'm not going to say average at best, but yeah, I don't really see like a huge uptick here.
Okay, and then to start the ninth round, we got some QBs flying off the board: Justin Herbert, Dak Prescott, Mekhi Lemon, who we were talking about earlier, and then Jalen Hurts, his teammate. So Hurts goes after those guys. A little late for him in a lot of the drafts I've watched. I just think he's got a safe floor because of all the rushing touchdowns, but I guess I can get it, taking Dak Prescott and Herbert over him. No
Oh man,
qualms.
that tush push isn't as prevalent anymore, right? They didn't have as many tush pushes last year, right? And all of a sudden, you kind of think I could understand why Jalen Hurts' stock has fallen. He did not even remotely perform last year like we thought he was going to perform last year. And I think that is, that's a matter of like him and who he is as opposed to really like his overall talent. He's a very talented player,
Mhm.
but he's slipping. He's
I'm
definitely
anxious.
slipping.
I'm anxious to see what Sean Mannion does with him. I wonder how much of the scheme impacted things in Philadelphia. So I'm wondering how that shakes out. Stephon Diggs, you take him, Howard.
There he is.
There he goes, off the board.
I think that's a fair spot right there. Jordan Addison,
I
Josh
agree.
Downs. I think Diggs is in a good spot here. I do like Josh Downs, but again, I mean, I don't know what Fozzie's doing. Why is he stacking Colts? Fozzie, why are you stacking Colts?
He's
Or are you just taking players that I like? Where's Fozzie? Is he commenting? I got to go to the
he
room
he
here. Where
said
is he?
something earlier. He hasn't said anything in a while though. He said Fozzie Dog's here picking next to Howard, or Fozzie next to Bender is what he said.
Mm,
Yeah.
Fozzie, what are you doing,
He's
buddy?
gonna take Daniel Jones later in the
There
draft.
he is. Hi, Fozzie. Why
There
are
he
you stacking Colts receivers? Like I just like here's the thing. Fozzie is a top ranked player here on RT Sports. So you need to understand the reasoning behind certain things because that's just going to make you better.
I agree. Everybody's got their strategies for the coming season, and I'm sure he has his. Interested to see why he is stacking Colts. I do like Josh Downs though. I think he could have a monster season. I think things are shaping up well for him to maybe take all those receptions that Michael Pittman vacated when he left. So I think he's going to have a good year. Matthew Stafford goes again. Tons of QBs going this round. Let's see. Everybody have a QB yet? Yes, they do. Everybody has a QB. Oh no, Fozzie Dog does not. I'm sorry. He's waiting for Daniel Jones. He can hold out, get his cold
Right?
stack.
He's trying to bait me into taking Daniel Jones right before him.
Yes, that's exactly what he's doing. That's a good strategy. That's knowing your drafters right there. Uh, let's see.
Oh goodness.
Jordan Addison. That's another name. We haven't talked about him really yet. You think there's a chance of him? He's super talented. Got a lot of things going for him. He's got Kyler Murray now as his QB because JJ McCarthy has not been very good, it seems. So you think Addison gets it going this year?
I don't really know. I don't really know. I'm not a huge Jordan Addison fan,
Hmm.
right? I mean, and I think that it's kind of interesting that when you bring in a guy like Jawan Jennings, I mean, what are you saying, really? Like, I mean, are you saying that you want to lock down the three receiver sets and Jawan Jennings is just going to replace Jalen Naylor, or does Jawan Jennings have like a greater shot at, kind of pushing for that wide receiver two spot and in two receiver sets? I don't know. Maybe that was like to light a fire under Addison's ass. I don't know. I just don't feel like we get enough consistency from him that it really warms my heart. I think Kyler Murray is going to be a little bit on the limited side in the sense that Kyler Murray could land on a guy like Jawan Jennings, probably, coming out of the slot, or, handle the work with Justin Jefferson. I don't necessarily know what more we see, like how many sustainable targets there are going to be for the third receiver on the team, or third pass catcher, should I say.
Yeah, sometimes I think Jennings' profile is better to be on the outside and Addison out of the slot. So anxious to see how that plays out. Maybe if Addison's in the slot, he might get more targets. Who knows? But you're right. A lot of mouths to feed there. They got T.J. Hawkinson as well, and we know Justin Jefferson wants the ball, and he's going to get it because he gets open at will last year, which he did last year. But J.J. McCarthy couldn't throw him the ball. You're up now, Howard, with your pick. Jared Goff just went
I know
for
we're
you.
really in a kind of a dead zone here, aren't we?
Yeah, you got all sorts of options you can go with at this point. Any position I mean, you
There's
could be like
nothing
you'd be like
great.
Glenn Colton and take Brandon Aubrey. You could do that as well. It's round 10.
I would never do that. But I'll take a tight end here again, just quickly, just because it's Kelsey and there's upside to be had here,
So, I
right? I
think
mean,
that's a smart pick because as you've kind of done before, Kraft is kind of a guy that can be injury prone a little bit, and you get Kelsey who's steady, has a really solid floor in that offense. So I think it's a smart pick, backing up Kelsey with Kraft. I'm guessing that's the way you were viewing it when you made that
yeah, I mean
selection.
that's kind of the way I'm viewing it. You look at a guy like Travis Kelsey, and it's a swan song year. There could be some big games from him that maybe it does make him a little startable. But right, he's got his bye week in week 5, so I get it out of the way early for that. And you know what? If he doesn't pan out, I can't imagine that I'm going to have too many hard feelings cutting him if I need to. I don't want to do that in round 10, but I also don't expect to be doing it in round 10. I expect him to stay on the team, and I expect, some situations where I might even think about flexing a tight end as well.
So Jackson Dart goes to Fozzie right after you. That is his first QB, so he takes Jackson Dart as QB1, then Jawan Johnson and Jacoby Myers goes as well. So everybody's got a QB. Not everybody has a tight end though. There's still a couple teams. The Screamscape team and Beach Bums, they don't have a tight end yet, and neither does the team picking right now. So a couple teams have two. One has three even. So
My days of waiting on that late tight end disappeared with all of my Chigakonkwo shares. Gone,
on.
gone. So
Is Chigakonkwu kind of off your radar now a little bit more with Stefan Diggs there?
he has to be, right? I mean, it's not that I mean, Chig didn't cost much in drafts, or he doesn't cost much in drafts,
No,
but
it's true.
you have to downplay him, or downgrade him because he definitely moves to being the third target on that team as opposed to being the second had they not brought in Diggs.
Makes
And
sense.
Joe Bradshaw says, "I don't care what you say, Bender. I'm taking Chigakonkwo anyway. You big jerk."
That's exactly what he's doing. He took Chigakonkwu as tight end one. Let's look at his roster. He's got three running backs: Kyron Williams, Bucky Irving, Rico Dowdle's receivers are Chase and Olave and Higgins and Burrow. So he has three of those Bengals on his team. Interesting. He's going all in with the Bengals. again, in a tournament format like this, not a terrible strategy for sure. To go heavy in on one offense if you think they're going to have some of those huge games during the playoffs, because that can carry you.
It definitely can carry you in the playoffs if you've got the guys who are all gelling there. Yeah, I mean it's very tough to really want to do a lot of stacking just simply because I mean you definitely run a risk during the course of the regular season
Yeah.
of something happening, right? I mean, what if Joe Burrow gets hurt and you've got Chase and you've got T Higgins, right? Well, all of a sudden, I mean, at least T Higgins is going to drop in value. Chase will take a hit as well. But you overinvest too much into one offense, and then you're kind of screwing yourself a little bit. If just the team itself has a bad game, it could cost you a fantasy matchup, and that's just as important as making sure that you pay attention to what's going on at the tail end of the season as well.
So Woody Marks went after Chigakonku, then Chris Rodriguez, KC Concepcion, and then Jake Ferguson. Woody Marks, do you think he's going to have much of a role this year, or do you think they're going to lean on David Montgomery a lot, or do you envision this being a split backfield possibly?
No, I see him leaning a little bit more heavily on Montgomery. I was actually going to take Montgomery over there when I took Bayshall Tootin.
Okay.
Monty was my preferred choice. It's just simply because he can catch passes. I mean, listen, Woody Marks will get in there as like third down little shiftiness kind of thing when they want to get some like extra movement there. But he's not the guy like in a tandem backfield. He's not somebody that I'm like really excited about some standalone value for.
So Jonah Coleman went after Jake Ferguson. He's another guy starting to get some steam a little bit in training camp. That's a backfield that just scares the hell out of me. I don't know about you, but I'm kind of staying away from it at this point, especially with the news of Coleman kind of turning heads from the coaching staff.
I'm staying away from Denver altogether. I mean, I'd very much like to know what the conversation was between Sean Payton and Taysom Hill tonight while they were all watching Drew Brees get inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Oh, was Hill there? I didn't see that.
Oh, Hill was there, and I mean, this is something that they've kind of talked about. It's been bandied about for the past couple of about week and a half now that we've heard about it. Where Sean Payton the other day was like, "Listen, I'm not in any rush to sit and talk to Taysom Hill," and we were like, "Yeah, dude, because we know you're going to see him in 3 days at the, at the Hall of Fame induction, so we know what you're going to do."
No, that's all we need. So Dalton Kincaid went after Coleman. Howard's on the clock right now, so I'll set the board. Dallas Goedert went after Kincaid, then Tajay Spears, Alvin Kamara, Brock Purdy, and then you took Stribling, who you actually mentioned here a few rounds ago. Probably had to go a little earlier than you normally do for him because he's kind of gaining some value with all those injuries going on in San Francisco. So Stribling's your pick here in round 11. Talk me through that.
Yeah, I mean that's really kind of what it comes down to. Ricky Pearsall season-ending in surgery, right? Mike Evans is there. They bring in Debo Samuel, who I mean at this point, I mean Debo's definitely much more of like a gadget guy type thing. Like all of a sudden now Debo Samuel is like the poor man's Jaden Reed. So I think that if you're looking at a rookie wide receiver who's got the potential of being the wide receiver too and staying on the field opposite Mike Evans, in Shanahan's offense, I think Stribling definitely stands a chance. I mean, it's going to depend. We're going to have to see what Debo is able to do early on because I know obviously he knows the scheme and Shanahan knows him and Shanahan trusts him, but at some point they were ready to let him go. So if they were ready to let him go, it's because they saw something declining in his game that they just didn't want to be a part of anymore.
After your Stribling pick, we see Jalen Coker, Patrick Mahomes, and then Aaron Jones. Coker. So we're watching Carolina tonight here in this preseason game. It looks like he's going to be starting with Brazel out for the season as well. That Panthers receiver room after Ted McMillan's still very uninspiring. It kind of worries me for Bryce Young because I was excited to see him maybe take some steps forward again, but I don't know. I wish they would have upgraded that receiver room. Quite frankly, I don't have much faith in Coker.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot of faith in any of them, right? I mean, you look
Yeah.
at that receiver room, and I mean, it is gross. I mean, Leggett is already hurt. Jimmy Horn, John Mechie, David Moore. There's nothing inspiring about any of these guys.
Nope. I like Ted McMillan because of that, though, because I think his volume could be huge this year. I think we kind of talked about that on the broadcast last week on how some of these guys, even if they're not on good teams, if the volume's there, it can still produce great fantasy numbers. So don't get scared off because of that. You took your second QB here, Howard. You took Kyler Murray to back up Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at the second QBs who are out there. I mean, again, Bo Nix. I definitely have the fear of Taysom Hill. I definitely have that fear. So I'm not going to screw around with that right now. Baker Mayfield, I don't like the little contract dispute and, it's going on here. And I like the offense in general, but, all of a sudden now we're starting to see some receivers getting banged up. So I'm going to, and I've got shares of Baker already, so I don't need to grab him. Kyler Murray kind of fits this build a little bit with me, right? Because he does have the mobile upside, could rush for 40, 50 yards a game, which is an extra 4 or 5 points right off the bat. Pairs him up with Justin Jefferson if I want. So kind of gives me that whole, because I thought about, like the whole yin yang draft philosophy. Grab like a mobile QB and then grab a pocket passer QB. And therefore you can like kind of mix and match. I'm just going to take with no running backs basically, or the three that I have, in there. I'm going to need to always have some mobile upside to whichever QB starts for me each week.
So at that point, there was no running backs on the board that were very exciting for you. It's getting kind of thin at that point, is it not? I don't
Oh,
have the list in
it's
front of me, but
atrocious.
not good. Okay. That's what I was figuring. So we had Algier go this round, and then Keaton Mitchell went also before you picked. Now Brian Robinson goes as well. So yeah, it's getting kind of thin there. You worried at all about that now with the way you've done your build? You're going kind of more zero running back. Are you still happy with
Um,
how everything's shaking out for you, or are you having second thoughts?
no, I mean, listen, I could have actually leaned into it more. I feel like, I took the three receivers and then I grabbed Tootin and then I grabbed Lamar Jackson. And then I guess I kind of um, not panicked, but in the sense of like really not wanting. When Ramondre Stevenson went off the board right before me, I was like, all right, damn. So these guys who went running back heavy with their first, 2 and 3 picks, are still hitting the running backs hard. So, that's why I grabbed Chuba there. And then on the way back, when Fozzie took Kenneth Gainwell right in front of me, I was like, all right, I mean, I'm definitely going to have to still fight for some running backs here. So I grabbed Monangai. But yeah, I mean, now it's like, now you look at the value of what's sitting on the board. While everybody was doing that, you pushed down, Tucker Kraft into the 8th round. I feel good with Stephon Diggs. And I feel good. I actually really like this team. I really like this team. This could be an intriguing team here, Jeff. This could be a $500,000
There you go.
winning team.
Yeah, if you're not aware, we're playing for $500,000 in this fancy life.
What you mean, we,
Yeah,
Jeffrey?
yeah, I'm not. I cannot play him because I am an employee here of RealTime Fantasy Sports, but I wish I could because it's a fun draft and that leaderboard at the end is awesome as well. When the playoffs start, just a lot of fun because it updates in real time, moves people up and down in the standings. Just a great contest. So it's always exciting to see how it plays out. But $500,000, $300 to enter the contest. You have prizes for winning your league, not just the overall component. So it's a great contest. I highly suggest getting in it and taking advantage of this promo we're running tonight. Today, I should say, just for a couple more hours, if you put in the promo code preseason, we will do a 50% deposit match up to $50 in bonus funds tonight only to kick off the preseason football. We are running this special for everybody, so take advantage of that, and you can get in one of these contests here. Just got a couple hours left before it runs out. So Howard's on the clock again. I will let everybody know what went off in this 13th round. This is what we're up to now at this point of the draft. Marshawn Lloyd, Xavier Worthy, Tank Dell, Bo Nix, Isaiah Pacheco, Jordan Love, Tyler Shuck, Arande Gatson, and now Howard's up with his pick. We've had 3 QBs go this round. A lot of teams getting their backup at this point of the draft at QB, and Howard's still trying to figure out what he wants to do here.
I'm taking Malik
Oh,
Washington.
Malik Washington. All right.
I mean, he's gonna see targets. Who else is gonna see targets in that offense? It ain't gonna be, Tutu Atwell, and it certainly isn't gonna be Jalen Tolbert.
Someone has to. You're right. And I was talking about the Panthers receiving room being bad, but Miami's is worse. They got a lot of no names there, and I think you're right. I think if I had to pick one, I think Malik Washington's going to be the guy that leads that team in targets and receptions. The rest of those guys are very uninspiring to me. I just don't know if they're great fits in a starting role. A lot of those guys are more bit players in my view. I think Washington's a guy that could, get a lot of work out of the slot and become quickly a favorite target of new QB Malik Willis. And so we'll see if that happens. See if any of these Dolphins receivers have value this year. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Kaimi Fairbairn goes after you. Our second kicker's off the board. Brandon Aubrey went in round 12. Fairbairn goes.
You know what? That's so funny. I was just looking for the kicker scoring here. I forgot. Are there points for distance?
I believe so, yes. You get a few bonus points for distance in the FLC. So it does matter a little bit. So you got some options there you can consider if you want to go. Kicker on the way back. We had Jordan James go, the possible backup in San Francisco. He just went with the 11th pick in round 13. Now Brian Faye's up with his pick. His roster so far, picking out of that 12 hole. CeeDee Lamb, Omarion Hampton, Emeka Ibuka, Jeremiah Love, Terry McLaurin, Christian Watson, Ja'Cory Crosby Merritt, Jaden Daniels, George Kittle, Jaden Reed, Aaron Jones, Keaton Mitchell. Not a bad job there, Brian. I like your build. I think you've done pretty well so far.
I like the cut of your jib.
I do. I like that George Kittle pick too. Gets him in round 9. I'd like it if he had a backup tight end. Maybe we'll do that right now. And he does. He gets Bretton Strange. Don't know if I love him as a backup tight end, but we'll see. Maybe he'll surprise me. I don't like the fact, we've kind of talked about this already, that Jacksonville's brought in so many tight ends to that roster, so it kind of scares me a little bit.
That does kind of make me a little nervous as well. It really does. I mean, when you look at the situation and and because you do worry at times when he makes a move like that, is he going to lean into this sudden trend where we're seeing a lot more bunch formations and a lot more, 12 and 13 personnel? Is Liam Cohen going to lean into that a little too much?
I agree.
Over there.
Dave O'Donnell chimes in on the chat, and something I should know he posts. So I appreciate Dave for doing that. You get 0.1 for every yard over 30-yard field goals. So 0.1 points. So that's the bonus that you get in this format. Thanks, Dave, for pointing that out. Appreciate that. I should have known that off the top of my head. I knew there was a bonus, just wasn't sure the exact amount. So kickers have a little more value.
It does give you, it does give a guy like Brandon Aubrey more value. Does that give Kaimi Fairbairn more value?
Yeah, he doesn't have a huge leg. No, not a huge leg. There's a couple other guys. I don't want to mention them, but there's a couple other guys with some booming legs out there still. I'm sure they're going to get picked here shortly. First defense off the board, too. Houston Texans go with the second pick in round 14. You're on the clock, Howard. Omar Cooper just went. There you go. There's a guy I was thinking of.
I knew you were thinking of him. I was like, God, say his name. Because I wasn't worried because Steve had already taken his kicker in Fairbairn. I was like, God, say his name. Say Cam Little.
That's exactly who I was thinking. So Cam Little goes to you, Howard. Round 14. So we still got 6 picks left after that. You normally go at this point? Is this when you look at a kicker, defense, or Is it normal?
No, no, not at all. Actually, this is. I
Well,
mean, for a tournament like this and for a high stakes like this, I won't be afraid to do it
mhm.
here. But it is definitely a little bit bigger, you know, when you're doing it because I mean, that like the 0.1 point per extra yard over a 31-yard field goal. That's pretty big. That's I mean, imagine Cam Little kicking his 60-yard field goals.
Yep. I believe it was Jason Myers who led in scoring in this format last year, and he had over 200 points. So it's a lot of points for a kicker. So I definitely it definitely makes sense maybe to go a little sooner than you normally would. What about defense? How do you play that out? I know you haven't picked one yet, and you don't have to give away your strategy if you don't want to, but how do you normally play that if you're so kind to say?
Normally what I really like to do is I like to find like a great defense that has a late bye week,
Okay.
right? Like show me a team that's got like the week 11, the week 12, not week 12, I guess it's yeah, like week 10 or beyond, right? Because then I don't have to worry about it throughout the beginning of the season. I don't have to waste time playing some sort of defense roulette on the waiver wire. I know, like that's the other thing also is that I'm kind of, eyeballing defenses a little earlier here just for the fact that, I know that this team that I put together right now, that when the first big running back on the waiver wire comes, I need to be, as close to all in as possible
Hmm.
on that particular running back, just because that I think would like put this team over the top, right? If I had these guys, if I had Tootin and Hubbard and Monangai as like, mixing and matching between RB2 and flex, then that would be huge. Huge.
And a lot of people too, different strategies with defenses. Like last year, I felt like I think it was the Cardinals. They had a great like first 3 week schedule, so you saw a lot of teams take them with one of their last picks and waited on a defense, and then picked up whoever got off to a good start. Might have surprised people early in the year as well. You can play it all different ways. I'm kind of like you though. I'd rather try to find one that I can just stick in my lineup and not really have to worry about it because I think it I know they don't score a lot, but still, it gets hard to figure it out who to pick up every week and who to drop. I'd rather just have one I can kind of depend on a weekly basis if possible, but definitely different ways you can play it.
Yeah, without a doubt. Without
Another
a doubt. Now I'm like sitting here, I'm like moving players into my queue right now. I'm kind of looking and seeing what I got going on here. One, two, three, four, five, 6 picks left.
6 picks left. We're at the start around 15. We had three defenses go the last round: Houston, Seattle, and Los Angeles. Then we had a bunch of long shot running backs get selected: Justice Hill, Dylan Sampson, and Sean Tucker, not Trey Tucker. I don't think he's been picked yet. Uh, couple rookie receivers too: Denzel Boston, Omar Cooper. I kind of like taking chances on Denzel Boston a little bit. I think he could end up emerging and starting for the Browns this year, and I like his price tag. That's one rookie receiver I've kind of feel like I've gotten more stock of than many of the other ones.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of, yeah, no. I think Stribling is probably the guy who I have the most shares of as far as rookie wideouts go.
Jadon Blue at the round start around 15, then Malik Willis. So that's Screamscape's second QB. He has Dak Prescott, Malik Willis. Kind of interested to see what happens with Willis this year. Kind of an intriguing fantasy player if you to land it in a little better spot. Like you've mentioned before, trouble throwing the ball. So that's never a good thing when you're QB. So we'll see what happens in this. We'll see what happens in this offense for him. But you got to like his rushing upside a little bit. It kind of makes him a little bit of an intriguing fantasy player. I wish he would have landed a better offense, or at least had an offense with better talent around him.
Better talent around him would be great, right? I mean, listen, you know what? Having Devon Achan isn't going to be bad, right? And
No.
the RPO work that we'll see, and I think that's kind of where it's all going to be their bread and butter here is, Malik Willis doing the RPO work, pitching it back to Achan, or at least just dumping it off to either Washington or Dulcich. I think we're going to see a significant amount of that. But I also, I look at the fact that, Malik Willis, again, it's just, you're not going to be able to survive in the NFL rushing for, 60 to 100 yards per game. Right? At some point, I mean, they're just going to, again, if you're a defensive coordinator, what are you doing? You're putting a spy on Willis and you're putting a spy on Achan.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I mispronounced that. ETN. Ah!
Uh,
I'm a funny
You're a
guy.
funny guy. Yeah, they did that with Trevor was doing the kickoff tonight at the game, and they talked about how they said we've been pronouncing his name wrong.
Oh, Trevor said it also now?
Yeah, Trevor E-Chain, he's going by that too.
He's going E-Chain?
Or A-Chain, or however he's saying it. He's saying it the same way that Travis, that,
I don't know how he's saying it either. Is it
I'm getting all,
itching,
yeah, I'm getting all,
itching, itching,
oh,
scratching?
man. Who knows?
Not me. I have no idea.
That's
I have no
clearly,
idea.
clearly neither of us do.
I feel like we're trying to put a little Cajun spin on
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
So it's not Etienne, it's Etienne.
Yeah,
But I mean, again, who the hell knows?
I don't
Who
know.
the hell knows with these guys?
Adonai Mitchell goes to on a big bender. Another guy's kind of, I like taking late round chances on him. I don't mind that.
I mean, he's going to end up being that opposite receiver from Garrett Wilson.
Yeah,
So yeah, I mean, again, and now that Kenyon Sadiq is expected to miss now a few weeks,
yeah,
that's
that's really,
problematic because you're learning a new scheme and missing time in camp is not a good thing.
especially tight end. It doesn't seem like the learning curve's been as bad in recent years. We've seen a lot of rookie tight ends do well, but in the past, historically, tight ends have had a little tougher time adjusting to the pro game. So all that missed time is not going to be good for Sadiq. He's loading up. Steve Boyle, by the way, is loading up on those Jets receivers. He wants that number two. He took Amar Cooper before he took Adonai Mitchell in round 15. So he's got both those Jets receivers.
I mean,
Uh,
what could possibly go wrong, right? For your
exactly.
fantasy pleasure, invest in those Jets.
He's also a team that has three tight ends. Doing some different strategies.
Well, I mean, he didn't have any receivers, so I mean, listen, if you're going to take Jamison Williams as like your number one receiver, right? That's his number one.
Oh yeah, it is. And he's
That's his
Jalen.
number one. That means that Coker or Golden or Cooper or Mitchell are going to be his wide receiver two for the
Interesting.
entire season.
Wow. His backs are. I mean, I'll take those three backs against anybody's, but it gets tough after. I mean, it's interesting that he went three backs and then a tight end. So that really put his receivers at a bit of a disadvantage there.
I don't like HN. I really
You
don't.
know?
Well, because I don't think that he fits Kellen Moore's scheme particularly well.
Yeah, you're right. And they don't. You've talked about as well. They don't throw to the running back a lot either,
Yeah.
which is a
I
knock
mean,
on his
and
value.
but what they're showing right now in camp is that Achan's on the field for the early downs, and Kamara is first one on the field during like third down situations. And Achan's not. He's just not built. He's not built like that. He's not built to be like the early down back kind of guy.
Thumper, yeah, thumper type. You know, carry the load. Your picks up now. You took Demond Claiborne. Now you took Kalen Black. So back to back rookies for you, Howard. We didn't even talk about the Claiborne pick. So talk about these last two picks for me.
Well, I mean, here's the thing is that you're looking at the running back situation in Minnesota right now. Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason. Jordan Mason's a good between the tackles guy, but they don't throw to Jordan Mason. Nobody throws to Jordan Mason. They didn't throw to
They
him in
don't.
San
No.
Francisco. They didn't throw to him last year in Minnesota, right? That's Aaron Jones's spot. So if Aaron Jones, who's I mean, come on, let's face facts, right? Aaron Jones is brittle, and that's
Mhm.
being kind. So who's gonna be the third down back? Who's gonna catch those passes? Who could be the guy on the field in the 2 minute drill? It could be Claiborne. So I like his opportunity there. And then I mean Kalen Black. Who's backing up McCaffrey? Who is the guy behind Christian McCaffrey right now?
They're all hurt.
They're all hurt except for Kalen Black.
Except for Kalen Black, you're right.
So, again, when you're kind of just looking at the situation there and you're trying to, you know, in the beginning of this draft, right? I mean, I'm fine at wide receiver. Look at my team at wide receiver. Amon-Ra, Justin Jefferson, Zay Flowers, Diggs, Stribling, Malik Washington. That right there, sorry, but that's a phenomenal receiving core.
It is.
Lamar Jackson, Tucker Kraft at tight end. So now when you look at it, and I've got, okay, here are my running backs. Tootin is the guy I have the highest hopes for. Chuba, I think, can be that RB2 that, take the lead role there in Carolina. Mononga is going to always have like a role there. So if I'm not going to be able to chase a guy on the waiver wire immediately, at least let me get some of these young running backs who are maybe only one injury away from doing something.
Yep. Mike Washington, another one of those guys. He went this round as well. Do you have any thoughts of taking him with your pick, or was it Kalen Black all the way?
I think it was Kalen Black all the way. I like Mike Washington, but again, he's a small, shifty guy. I don't think he's a guy who will ever be able to like just take the job over completely. I think that they'll always end up like sharing a role behind Ashton Genty. Not to mention, I'm so overly invested in Ashton Genty. Why would I possibly want to root for Mike Washington to do well for me?
And then we saw Braylon Allen also went this round. We haven't talked about him really at all. He's looking huge in camp, by the way. I'm wondering what happens in that situation in New York if they do end up, rotating those backs like they've kind of hinted at. I wonder what kind of role Allen could end up playing this year.
I don't know, man. I absolutely hate it. I
Yeah.
really do. I hate the situation. I would not. I just, a three-headed monster back there. It's like that's why it's like cutting into my shares of Brees Hall because I can't trust the fact that they're not going to, really utilize a multi-back situation here with Braylon Allen as like the beefy short yardage guy, and Isaiah Davis will get some passing work, and then what's Brees Hall getting after that?
And it's probably not going to be a very good offense on top of all that. So that's what makes it even scarier. Ryan Flournoy goes at the start of round 17. Nuts took Daniel Jones, took Fozzie's pick, so he blocked him there. Then we had a bunch of defenses: New England, Minnesota, Chargers. Chargers defense could be pretty good this year with their new head coach in the mix, one of the best defensive minds out there, Jesse Minter. So I think that defense could be pretty stout this year. I like that pick in round 17. Could be pretty good.
Yeah, I think it could be very good.
Yeah, Katron Allen, Devin Singletary, Ollie Gordon. Ollie Gordon's getting some love and getting a little bit of hype too. But again, I just don't know if there's much of a path for him for playing time.
I don't think there's much of a path for playing time for Ollie Gordon. I actually had Katron Allen sitting in my queue. He was going to be my next pick.
Oh, there you go.
He was actually going to be my next pick because you look at you got Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt. Rashad White is, a tomato can. Why wouldn't Katron Allen possibly get the, a little look-see there?
Fozzie has an interesting build. You talked about it earlier with a lot of his Colts picks, but now he waited on a tight end. Now he's just loading up on him. He took Gadsden in round 13 and then 15, 16, and 17 tight ends. Hunter Henry, Greg Dulcich, TJ Hawkinson. So he's definitely going to be playing some tight end roulette, like you said earlier, trying to figure out who to start on a weekly basis with these guys. Could be tough.
Yeah, and at some point, listen, at some point he's going to be dropping a bunch of them anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? I like out of that group, Gadsden's got the potential of becoming fantastic in Mike McDaniel's system, right? I like him a lot. Greg Dulcich is going to be, he's probably going to be the number 2 receiving target in Miami just because they don't have anybody else. So Henry and Hawkinson will probably be expendable a little later on. And then that's, that's the trouble for me when you're loading up on like these back end guys is like, You have to be prepared to say that, I'm cutting these guys no matter what. I would rather take the upside of like a running back than a shifty, mediocre tight end at this point.
Yeah, because some of those guys, even if you end up cutting them, could end up still producing some big games. I think Hunter and Hawkinson, like you mentioned, could be guys that could be kind of boomer bust, especially Hunter Henry. I think he's kind of undervalued at times. He's been pretty good for the Patriots, and I know they've added more weapons there, but they still like to utilize the tight end a lot. Josh McDaniels does, so be tough for him to figure out those moves to make during the season. Going to be tough for the Fozzie dog, but he can do it. I got faith in Fozzie.
Of course, we got faith in Fozzie. Fozzie knows what's
Exactly.
going on.
He does.
He knows what's going down on the streets.
Terrence Ferguson at the end of round 17, then Ray Davis at the start of round 18. Just a couple picks left. Howard, it's been a lot of fun this draft. Some different strategies for sure compared to the last few that we've done. So it's been good, though. I think it's been interesting to see how it plays out, especially your team with the way you made your build.
Dude, this team's going to win the whole thing. What are you talking about?
This is his team. This is the highest I've seen you on a team so far since we've done one of these. Though you're pretty stoked with these picks, I think.
I mean, listen, I think that, yeah, I am. If one or two of my running backs hit, I mean, come on. This team's money in the bank.
You're
This
going to
team's
go
the
back to
best.
Andrew Cooper and tell him that he's right with trying to do this build, or are you not going to let him know?
Oh, Jamaica. That's what I'm doing with this team. This is like the closest I've ever come to zero RB. And with a perfectly acceptable chicken out, right? It's like, when you've got kids, right?
Yeah.
When your kid's like 4 or 5 years old and he's like at the edge of the diving board. I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. No, 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 not gonna do it. And then, like, eventually you're gonna fall in with the floaties.
Exactly. Your picks up now, Howard. We had Ray Davis go, then Devon Vele, Detroit Lions, and now you're up trying to fill some depth, most likely, with these last few picks. You already have a kicker. You already have a defense.
What
Guess
if it is James
there you
Conner
go, James
still?
Conner.
What if it is still James Conner?
Or what happens if he gets released or traded and lands in a better situation? Right?
What if?
Never know.
I mean, this dude beat cancer for crying out loud, right? What can't he do?
That's true. He seems like a good dude for sure. Chris
Does
Bell
seem like a
goes.
good dude.
He does. Want to root for good people. Chris Bell goes now, another Miami receiver. Then Christian Kirk. People are just taking some dart throws at this point. Calvin Ridley goes too. Calvin Ridley, that's super late. Why not at this point? I think he's still going to start. So I don't mind that pick there. I think that's one of the better late round picks I've seen so far in this draft.
Yeah, it's definitely, I mean, again, you gotta throw some darts. You gotta take a couple of shots here. And again, yeah, if Ridley, I mean, if Ridley can, I mean, he does. It's not like he's got to outplay a bunch of guys. I mean, Chimray DK, they consider him more of a deep threat kind of a guy, and I guess. Whatever happened to Alec Ayamanor? How come he just kind of fell off to the wayside here?
True. Yeah.
Which I don't understand why.
So we do have a team that's really gone zero running back. So I wanted to look at that. I just noticed his build here. So the Ama Incognito team, clever. He went 5 straight receivers to start. Jack Smith and the Jigba, Drake London, Rasheed Rice, Devonta Smith, Jalen Waddle. Then 3 straight running backs, Jalen Warren, Blake Corum, J.K. Dobbins. And now he has just hammered running back. His last 7 picks?
Yeah.
7 picks have been running backs. Brian Robinson, Isaiah Pacheco, Sean Tucker, Nick Singleton, Emmett Johnson, Katron Allen, and Kamani Vidal. So he did go off the deep end, Howard. I think he's the team that that really adhered to that zero running back theory more so. You were close, but I think he went all in and embraced it. He's really going all in on these running backs late here.
Well, let's just see here. He's got through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 rounds. He had 3 running backs.
That's true. You did too. You're
One,
right.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13,
Well, you waited.
14.
Okay. All right. So
Come
maybe you did.
on, man. Come on.
He's loaded up on those backs, a lot more of those dart throw backs than you did.
I
But
know, well, because he kept stealing mine, right?
yeah,
Because he kept taking guys like Katron Allen and Kamani Vidal from me. I was trying, man. I was trying. I just got sidetracked by that Baltimore Ravens defense,
I know who
right?
the incognito is too. He's a good player. I'm not going to out him, but I know who it is. He's a good player on RTSports. So
All right,
it was
well,
interesting to see what his builds are.
what's he going to do this time now? Is he going to take
I
another running
mean,
back away from me?
he doesn't have a kicker or defense yet.
Oh, okay, good. You have to walk away with a kicker and a defense in this, right?
I believe we do not run a waiver before the start of the season.
Yeah. Take your
Some
kicker.
leagues we do, but these we don't, I believe. Again, something I should know, but I don't. I'll be the first to say it.
I provide the content and the plucky comic relief. That's my job. It's not my job to know all the rules.
Exactly. There's a lot of rules. I guess not because he did not take a kicker or defense. He went another running back. He took Jalen Wright.
Jalen Wright. Right out of my queue.
Uh-oh.
Right
Jerry
out of
Jeudy
my
goes,
queue.
Gunnar Helm, Will Reichard, Cyrus Allen.
Oh,
Cyrus
yeah.
Allen.
I like Cyrus Allen.
Yeah. You took him last draft, and I predicted that one, and you were shocked by it.
That's right.
Now his injuries kind of
It's
maybe
cooled him
slight.
off a little bit, right?
Exactly. Jerry Jeudy, wow, man, he's fallen. So that team took Calvin Ridley and Jerry Jeudy, two veteran receivers that had some good histories, but not done much in recent years. So
You know, I don't mind the Jerry Judy pick, especially, you know, if what Alex Berry, their GM said, right? But he
Mhm.
was like, Judy's targets won't be affected.
So
Well, if
Dave
they're not,
O'Donnell again chimes in the draft and sets me straight that you don't have to pick a kicker or defense. There is one waiver run before the start of the season. There's a waiver.
thank you, Dave.
Say thanks, Dave.
Thanks,
He might be an
Dave.
employee of RealTime Fantasy Sports, and I'm unaware of it. I appreciate that.
Dave Waters telling me I need some RBs. I know I need some RBs. I know. That's why I got 4 of them in my last 5 picks. We'll see what happens
Yeah,
here,
but Quint Allen, yeah, there you go. You paired him with your Tootin pick. There,
right?
that's a good move. Good move. Took James Conner too.
I just need one more. I need one more good sneaky upside pick here.
Dave Waters correcting me. He said it first. Okay, Dave Waters, I'll give you the credit. I apologize. Both Daves hooking me up in the chat though. Thanks for watching. We appreciate that.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you so much for everybody who's been
Yeah,
here,
definitely.
everybody who's drafting.
We got a lot of people in here watching, well over 200 people in here, and I'm sure there's even more than that watching on different formats. So good times, good times. I'm sure these drafts, by the way, these FLCs, Fantasy Life Championships, we used to do at this time of the year, we'd been doing like 1 or 2. We're doing like 5, 6, 7 a day now. So they're going off a lot around the clock. We're running those promos with the happy hour promos where you can get some money off if you sign up for the drafts that draft around happy hour. So that's good stuff as well. But our drafts, they're going off fast and furious now. So if you want to get in any of these formats, you don't have to just do the FLC. You can do our All-American Leagues, our Best Ball Championships. You can do the Howard Bender, Beat Howard Bender Best Ball Championship as well. $10,000 grand prize for that league. We've been videoing those as well. So just all sorts of contests you can get in. Again, don't forget, you're running out of time, but a couple hours left. And our promo for the preseason. Again, put in the promo code preseason today only. 50% deposit match up to $50 in bonus funds. Expires at 11:59 Eastern time. So take advantage of that. It's a great special we're running. And Howard, you got one more pick. You're on the clock right now. Let's see what you do before we get out of here. See how you finish off this team. Is the guy you want there, or did someone snipe you?
No, the guy that I want isn't really there.
He was picked 5 rounds ago.
Wah, wah. So yeah, now I just kind of I'm scrolling through. I'm seeing what's what. And who knows? You know what? We'll take a little upside rookie play here because it's my last pick. And why the hell not? Let's see what Jacoby Lane
There you go.
does. All right. Let's see if he is Mr. Camp Hype or if he's actually somebody who's going to do well for me. And you know what? Here you go. He fits into a little bit of a Ravens stack with me. Right, I've got Lamar Jackson and I've got Zay Flowers. So you know what? If push comes to shove and I need a little extra there, then I got a little Jacoby Lane. And their bye week is week 13. So these guys are coming back ready and waiting, well rested for the week 14 when the playoffs start.
Perfect. Perfect. All right, Howard, your team is in the books. We'll recap it real quick. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Justin Jefferson, Zay Flowers, first 3 picks. Then you went Bashal Tutin, Lamar Jackson, Chuba Hubbard, Kyle Monangai, Tucker Kraft, Stephon Diggs, Travis Kelce, Deshaun Stribling, Kyler Murray, Malik Washington, Cam Little, Damon Claiborne, Kalen Black, Baltimore Ravens defense, James Conner, LaQuint Allen, and Jacoby Lane. There you go. That's Howard's winning $500,000 winning team.
Wait till I tell my wife that we just won $500,000. She's gonna freak out. She's gonna freak out.
If you want to get in one of these FLCs, do it at RTSports.com. Sign up for one today. We're going to keep broadcasting these till the start of the season. They're a lot of fun. We like doing them. I think the people like to watch them as well, especially the drafters in them. I think they always fill up really quick, and people really enjoy it to see us critique their picks. So, Howard, thanks much for joining me, as always. A ton of fun drafting, seeing you draft tonight. Good stuff, as always. Appreciate it.
Thanks, as always, for having me, man. Appreciate the time. I appreciate the draft. And, yeah, I do $500,000. I'm in shock.
He's gonna go look at a new boat that he can put out there in the water.
Crying. You know, I'm going to Vegas in in like 2 weeks, man. I mean, I might just have to put it all on I'll put it all on black and just double it all, right? Just get the full cool million.
Might as well. Howard's already the winner.
Vegas will give me a marker on this, right? If I just do it on consignment, hey guys, I'm going to win this tournament.
Just show them the roster. That's all you got to do.
Pretty much.
All right. Thanks, Howard. Appreciate it. Thanks everybody out there for watching as well. It's been a lot of fun. We'll see you next week on Draft Night here at RealTime Fantasy Sports.